Hi, my name is Magali Feys. I'm a lawyer from Belgium, and I'm specialized in intellectual property, IT law, and data protection. So I think a first step, definitely for big companies in order to become GDPR compliant, is actually think about what personal data you have and what personal data you're processing. And the best way to do that is actually to do it with a data register and to make sure that you draft a data register. And I think with Collibra that it provides you a really great tool which will make in the future the GDPR compliancy a less cumbersome effort. I think it's very important that people also understand what I think are the advantages of GDPR and not only the negative aspects, because we all talk, or there's a lot of talk going on about the penalties. I think if you do it like that, it becomes a very negative exercise, and if you then have to make sure that people within your company have to join the team, the GDPR team, and that is the only way you're doing it, it's not a fun exercise. If you look at it from a positive point of view, there are quite some advantages. If you're set up a web shop, for example, I think it's very important that you can communicate about GDPR compliancy, because GDPR compliancy is also about data security. And let's be honest, if I order something online, I want to have my contact details and definitely my credit card details being treated and processed in a secure way. So there you can really make a unique selling point out of GDPR. So it's good for your internal customers, external customers, but also from an organizational point of view, the fact that you think about security in a structured way, the fact that you do data minimalization and data centralization, that really will benefit the organization in itself and the way you work as a company. The fact that we send way too many emails or documents through emails makes that we have mailboxes that are completely full, documents all around. So I think from an organizational point of view, it really can also be an advantage. And if you try to implement GDPR from those advantages, from the point to make it into advantages, I think it's a much nicer exercise, and you can really involve the different departments. To become GDPR compliant is only a successful exercise if you are able to implicate the different departments, because it's not, and that's also I think one of the misunderstandings that there are out there, is some companies think, oh, it's a legal thing and it's for the legal department, or no, it's an HR thing, it's for HR department, or no, it's for the IT guys. The GDPR says you have to take proportionate technical and organizational measures. And whenever a legal text gives you that additional word, it is not because we like the prosaic way of saying, okay, it's nice, we have now a little word extra. It really is because there is a meaning to it. And that means that you have to take the measures that are possible for your company. For example, if tomorrow you work with a CRM tool and that CRM tool is not GDPR compliant, then yes, you have to see in the market if there is another tool that is GDPR compliant, or that the tool you're using has a GDPR compliant version. But let's say that that company would come to you and say, yeah, we have a GDPR compliant version, but it will cost you X million dollars or X $1,000. And you can just not pay that, then of course GDPR does not oblige you to go for that GDPR solution. You might look into the market, but if you would say, yeah, in the market there are other tools, but those tools do not fit the business needs of our company, then you are GDPR compliant, because you actually verified whether there was another tool, but it was not proportionate to actually take that technical measure to, for example, change to another tool or take the GDPR compliant tool. And once again, it is a proportionate exercise, and it doesn't have to be a 1-year plan. You can say, okay, this year it might not work for us, but in a couple of years to come, we can actually set it up the roadmap, and we might change our CRM tool, or we might change this, or we might change that. And I think if you do it like that, it's really an exercise that is doable. There's one disadvantage on GDPR is the accountability. It's actually the change of burden of proof, where in the past you as a company, the authorities had to say, oh, you are not GDPR, oh, you are not compliant with data protection laws. Now it's the other way around. They can just say it and say, we think you're not GDPR compliant, and you have to be able to prove it, which means that you have to formalize a lot of things. Maybe processes that you're already doing. When I think about password management, in a lot of companies, it's already out there. Is it written down somewhere? No. Access management, most of the companies are using Active Directory. Yeah, it works. It's based on function, roles, and things like that. Is it written out somewhere? No. So that is true. GDPR is not only good news. I'm not trying to sell you as good news show. There are disadvantages of it that are just there. But on the other hand, it also makes you think about the process you're doing, and might also be a good exercise to see whether you're as efficient as you thought you are as a company. So once again, I'm Magali Feys from A Contrario. You can, if you have any questions with regard to GDPR or IT or intellectual property, you can definitely visit our website at www.acontrario.law, or you can always give me a ring at 0032 474 296125. Thank you.